Hi guys, LeanMachine-Painting here with another video for our orc. Oh, I'm dropping stuff on the floor for our orc madness project. Orc war project. So what I'm going to do is just do a little sit and chat and put together the Mega Dread. I believe that's what it's called. Yep, Mega Dread. So we've got the weapon options for it. If you've seen in a previous video, you would have seen the different options there. So I'm just going to I've taken some parts off already, but this is obviously no experienced person who's going to really learn anything from this, but I've got a video playing. Also a bit of next level painting. There's a few YouTubers actually I watch, but just now and again as I'm painting or modelling or whatnot, like a core group really of main ones. I'm quite interested to see if there's any others out there. So going to get the excess chunks, whatever you call it, off this model, and then try and assemble the parts that I can, because obviously when I paint, I do tend to paint my models in different parts so I can get into certain areas that you couldn't if it's all glued together, make life a bit easier, get a better finished effect. But when you've got great big chunks like that now, and there's two bars, previously I've had an experience where I've clipped off the one bar and then the other one's just snapped off and taken part of the model. So what I tend to do is don't go through, I just carefully just squeeze, just gently squeeze, just to make like a weak point in one of the bars. Just keep squeezing and then squeeze a bit more on that one, squeeze on that one, squeeze, just gently making weakness. There you go, that one's clipped through and then that one clips through, and it comes off without ripping a chunkier model off, which can happen when you've got those great big thick beams. Leaves a little bit of a couple of nubs there that you need to just shave off. So my actual knife, I can't find my blades, but this blade is pretty blunt, which is okay because I tend to cut, and if there's any young people watching, do not do it this way. Listen to mum and dad and school. I put my thumb there, but I'm an adult and I've got quite strong hands, so I kind of stop it before it hits my thumb anyway. I've got a really strong grip with my hand around the knife, so I'm levering it back and forth so it doesn't, I'm not just doing like one swipe. You do one swipe, that's when you'll chop yourself. But this is so blunt anyway, it probably wouldn't cut me. And bits fly off, you end up cleaning them up at some point. I'll throw the hoover around. Probably part of the way I end up with quite a dusty desk, other than always got the window open because it's so hot in this room, and the fact that I use the airbrush a lot, creating obviously dust particles in the air. Not really containing these parts, they're kind of flying around, and over time you have to clear your desk off. And if you watched my previous videos, you would have seen what I'm talking about my desk at the moment. I just I've decided I've got a couple of weeks holiday coming up. I was going to go travelling with my girlfriend, but that's not happening now, so I'm going to have a good clean out. Now I've got a few bits of blue, still blue parts of the mould in here, but that's okay, that it was cast in. So that's nice and clean now around the top, so that will fit in there. That's like the groin, the waist for the legs and the torso to connect to. I always dry fit everything numerous times as I'm going as well, so that's going to fit nice. I think that's the front, so like that. So that's going to fit nicely like that. So now there's always some bits on here and you're not sure whether they're just little structural ruts that need to be removed or not. So there's some under there which I believe are part of the model, and I've seen the model put together on Forger, but I need to check the painted version, because these little ones underneath here, there's a row of them, are very thin and flimsy, so they look like they're just there as like a structural thing. I don't know if they need to be trimmed off or left. Let's see if I can find the painted image. Yeah, so let's go Forge World. Let's have a little look. So as you're going through, try not to cut off things that you shouldn't have. Don't know if I've done that yet, I can't remember doing it. I might have done it once, don't remember doing it. So continue getting these parts off. Some of them are so thin, and if you're confident and experienced, you can just actually just snap them off. It won't take a chunk of the model off because they're so thin and flimsy. Sometimes you can just give them a little feel and you can see the breaking point. It's up to you, or you can use your Stanley knife from, or hobby knife from the start, and then just clean off the bits that's left. It's going to need a bit of a scrub, this one, I think, because it's a bit shiny. That's one of his giant feet. Now again, what I like to say about those structural things, if you see underneath here, there's 3 bars along there which don't look modelled on very well because there's like a gap. So again, but they do have a kind of the effect where it's like this chip effect there, so I think they might stay there, like, you know, this rough kind of actual modelled surface onto it. So I think they might stay there, but as it's the foot, I guess they don't need to worry too much. You just see the side view where you see the grooves where it's like got a bit of modelling, so I do think they stay there. When I first saw it, I wasn't too sure. What else we've got is, so I've taken some bits off as well. The pilot looks awesome. Pilot, if you call him that. I don't know what you'd call him. Driver, captain, don't know. But he's got loads of wires coming off his back connecting to his vehicle. That's awesome. And his hands down there. But also I noticed, because he's got his arm posed back, so it's like he's holding the hatch back. But when I put this on, this bottom nub part, I don't know if that's meant to come off, because it's actually, there was another bit it was connected to which cut down to that bit, and then that bit goes down into there. I've had to shave it down because he was raised out, and he still is raised out of going in, but when I put this hatch on where his hand's supposed to be, his hand is so high up, and if you can see that, it's actually missing it anyway. So somehow when it's painted and needs to glue in, is it more going to be more like his arms resting, unless, I guess when he's in, yeah, I think I'm going to have to take him further down because his hand's a good bit of gap above top of the hatch holding it down, so I'm probably going to have to shave that down and get him a bit more down inside it. So that gets a couple more of the main big chunk bits. I'll probably leave these little bits on until I decide where they need to be glued so I don't lose them. I've got next level painting. He's quite loud here. I'm shouting. Sorry dude, I like you, but let's turn you down. Crazy guy. Okay, so this is one of the toe plates, so just get this off actually. I'll probably glue them on. I don't, be careful when you're, well I said these thin bits snapping them, but when you've got a thin bit of model, you don't really want to snap it because that probably will take a chunk. So I tried just to cut it as close to the model part as I can. Sometimes you can leave a little bit so it gives you a bit of breathing space just to trim it back down to where it needs to be. So yeah, like I said, this is kind of probably a long video. I know people probably don't watch long videos. They probably just skip through. But if you're like me, sometimes I'm just sat there painting. I usually have either a computer game on, usually a Games Workshop game like Mordheim or something like that, playing. Because it's a turn-based game, so I don't need to be focusing on it too much. I can do a move or whatever, and then I can just, it's actually in the background on now, or I can play a whole turn, a whole game even, and then go back to painting because I like to break it up. Let's get off some of these wispy bits. So, you know, what do you guys do? Do you tend to do that? Do you tend to sit and watch some guys? Like I said, I've got a core group of guys I watch. One of them, like I said, is Next Level Painting. Because also you learn things. Different people have very different styles. He seems to have a very clean, not, I don't want to say cartoony, but a very clean kind of finish. A very good, obviously technical painter. It's quite different to how my finishes come out. Mine are a bit more gritty, I'd say, possibly more realistic to the finish, whereas his is a very, very clean, nice, contrasted finish. Now that's a compliment, okay, so I'm not putting him down because obviously he's an amazing artist. I will call him an artist because that's what he is. So there's like him, I watch him from time to time, and then I watch some informative ones. I watch like Spiky Bits because he does lots of reviews, constantly. He reviews everything, the White Dwarfs, the other different game systems, the new models that come out. He's just constantly everything that comes out, which is really good, and I like him as well. He's a pretty nice guy, pretty funny as well. I like kind of chirpy people to listen to, you know, people that are positive and seem motivated. It's always good to watch someone who's positive and not monotone. I've watched a couple just now trying to get some Rust things, and I'd never want to put anyone down, but it's just hard to watch sometimes. I hope I don't come across as kind of monotone or anything like that, you know, that just a bit droll, should I say. So I tend to try and find a few and just stick to them. So I got him. I watched some of what Painter Nerds ones. Obviously, then you got the big guys like who do the battle reports, mini war gaming. I don't watch a lot of their actual battle reports actually anymore, really. I don't know why. There's some of the 30k ones I'm more getting into in a minute, more of the 30k guys, that's probably why. So yeah, what I do is I have one of them playing. I'm fully aware that a long video, not everyone, they just want to watch a short sharp video for some sort of reference to do something and then move on. But I'm hoping kind of, if I do something a bit different, it might not work, but I'm just going to do what I enjoy at the end of the day. I want to try and help people if I can, but at the end of the day it's what suits me and what I enjoy doing, because if I don't enjoy doing it, if I do all these just short, sharp, bang, video done, video done, video done, video done, and I'm not actually enjoying it, then I'll end up not doing it, I'll stop. So I'm just going to do short and long ones. So also gives me a chance to, as I ramble, maybe for you to pick up things as I ramble and help me out. Excuse me. I try not to swear, so I will warn. Sometimes, you know, I try not to swear, but sometimes if a little swear word comes out now and again, I apologise. It's just who I am, rough and ready. And as these videos, they're not probably great quality to start with. So we're already 13 minutes in, and I've only just done that. So let's get the structure. Let's take this main part off. Now I was going to snap this part, but the thing is, he's got this thin panel, and those bits there will probably take that off. So let's get this down. Let's lay this down. There's a strut there to take off as well. But I do love this model. Now I played a game last night, or yesterday should I say, against one of my brothers. He popped over, brought his little boy, his 5-6-year-old boy over as well. He started off okay, the little one, but he wanted to help too much, and then he became a little bit frustrating, not really understanding things. He was knocking the models and that. I was trying to get just me and my brother play, but I had a Space Marine 1000 points, Space Marines 8th edition. I was Space Marines, he was Plague Marines. I won't go through the exact list that I took, but I basically had some Terminators, a Chaplain as my Warlord, a few vehicles like Predators, some weak ones as well, just to finish the points off, like a Razorback with nothing else. What did I say? The Contemptors? I had a Contemptor or two there, and he had 5 Plague Marines. His Warlord was a Caster. I can't remember what it's called. Blight Bringer or Blight Caster. Or God, this bit is going to be a bit of a pain to go off. So maybe I'll trim that back. What else did he have? He didn't have a very big army. He had a Predator. I can't remember what it's called, but he put the conversion beamer on it and a couple of side sponsons. He seemed to have thrown a lot of points into really buffing up just a few models rather than spreading his points for 1000 points. And then he had Contemptor Dreadnought with not Blight Cannon, Butcher Cannon, that's it. And something else. Like a plasma, their version of plasma, Leptoplasmic or whatever it's called. Can't remember. wasn't my list. And he had a greater blight drone. That greater blight drone actually turned out to be absolutely nails. And from what he said, and I trust what he said, quite cheap points wise. Obviously you got to pay for the weapons and whatnot, but that was probably his best in that game, his best best unit. But because he only had one vehicle and I had a couple of predators, I kind of whittled his vehicle down to just 2 wounds. I got some awesome shots in with a laser cannon, and once you get them through, and it's D6 damage, and I rolled sixes a couple of times. So his vehicle on the first round went down to, I think it was 4 or 2 wounds or something, maybe 4 wounds, and then the turn after that I got a little bit less lucky and only got 2 more wounds on it, took it down to about 2, and then the third round killed it. Something like that, or I killed it on the second round, I can't remember exactly. I deep striked in my Terminators, but I held them back till turn 2. So the first turn I just fired off a load of shots, moved my Contemptors up. But my Contemptors actually didn't do too great, I would say. They peeled off a few wounds. One of mine got down to 1 wound, and then charged into his Greater Blight Brigade and actually got a hit in, and I done basically maximum damage I could, and it took a chunk of wounds off. So he was on 1 wound and a little bit of glory. The Overwatch shots hit but didn't wound him. So he had 1 wound. I thought, well, if he stood next to one of my other units there, if he blows up from shooting and hurts my guy, I may as well charge him in and let him blow up and hurt one of his guys. So charged him in, but it would have been the table. I would have tabled him by the next turn, I would guess, unless something drastically went wrong with my rolls. What I'm doing here is just cleaning up some of the excess bits, and there's a bit of a seam line down the back of this tooth that they've modelled. I'm trying not to take off any of the detail, which I did just do. It's a crappy knife. Yeah, and I end up victory points though. I had the better cards being pulled. So I was, before he conceded, I was on 5-0 for victory points, plus I hadn't lost any units. He'd lost his tank. I did take out his Contemptor Dreadnought in the end as well. I killed a couple of his Plague Marines, but I'd only just tickled his with that 1 good hit I got from my Contemptor on his Greater Blight Drone. So that was still rocking and rolling for him. So that's that done. Let's get the instructions out. These old model basic instructions. Yeah, so it was a good game. I think we learnt a few things as well, how to play it. So that can't be the instructions, there must be one more bit. Please tell me there's another bit, because or else that is just... Really? Oh, it's on the back here. Okay, this bit's double-sided. So what I'm probably going to do is do the front part painted separately from the back. So I'll put on the parts for the back. I will probably put the waist onto the top, and I might even put these thigh joints onto the side, because I can get into the cogs, so we can put the rusting effect in there anyway. I'll probably put the pistons and that onto the foot, and probably put the machine gun barrels on its chest part there as well. So let's crack on with that. So our first part, this is the first part. We're just going to get the waist stuck now. Yesterday I tried sticking a part on one of these models. I don't know why, because this doesn't look shiny. I'm going to wash this part. It looks pretty clean. It's just shiny. Everyone, so not everyone, a lot of people tend to just clean these every time anyway. If I have any problems, I'll work that out. So when you're putting a model together, obviously it's important, because you've got to have the pose right. So I don't want him really turning, unless I magnetise that, so that I can take that part off. I might do that, you know, so at least I can move it. Shall I do that? Let's have a look at my bag of magnets, new magnets I've got. So I've got a big order of magnets come through. I got these, I said on a previous video, if you watch my videos in sequence, some of them are absolutely tiny. Super tiny. This one's here, that's 250 there. I think that's, I don't know how many that is, 100 or something. But these ones are absolutely tiny. This one's here, I think they're the same, yeah, I think they're the same diameter, but the actual thickness I think is only half a mil. That one's a mil, so half a mil, so they aren't going to be recessed in far at all. Probably, I got them there just in case this, the reason for using them pops up. I've got these then delivered, so 4 different sizes. If I put them in some sort of order, probably won't. So that's the smallest ones. That's the ones you'll probably use for your Space Marine arm sockets. And then one slightly bigger, maybe a Terminator arm socket. And then one bigger again for something else, I don't know, maybe my killer cans. And then this big, slightly bigger one for the Death Dread. I do have other magnets going up bigger and bigger from previous purchases, but for this guy obviously you're going to go for the bigger size, and this might even be too small, so I might even have to resort to a bigger one again. So you've got to get your polarities right as well. I always tend to, what I do is I have a previous model, so if I get down this Leviathan, so this is my one of my painted Pure Fists obviously. So always do the polarity. Now he's got all his arms magnetised, so I've got all the weapon options for him. But I've also magnetised on this one the actual chest guns. Got little magnets in there, if you can see that. I don't know if that's focusing or not, I can't really see because of my angle, but there's a little magnet in there. And then a magnet up inside there, and then they just clip in. So that's the heavy flamers, and I've got obviously the other different ones there. So even if it's a different different force, I always still, so I have that way going in that way, so that'll be recessed into the body. So that will be into the body like that, and then that way will go into this way. So it'll be that way to that way. But these are quite small probably for that. So let's see if I can find other magnets. See if I've got a bigger. There's a load of magnets here. So this is a mess of magnets, but you can see that you do have bigger ones here. So I've got these ones, or these massive ones, so I should probably just get all these off. Those ones, whoop. Mayhem. Ah! Oh God, right. They're probably perfect. They fit almost without having to drill. Pretty much, I wouldn't have to drill. And then they're probably about perfect size on there. So if I had 2 magnets in there, I wouldn't want the body sitting up. So if I put, as if I had these 2 magnets in here and then put him on there, he is only just raised off from the waist, just slightly. So what I will do then is, if I can save my knife from being, I will just slowly just trim down. Let's get him back out the way. Put him over there. I'll just trim this down with my blunt knife. Make even more mess everywhere. want to sand this. If you sand this, I'd be careful. I'd wear a mask probably, I would suggest, because all this fiber's going down into your lung. I don't think it's going to be any good at all. So where those magnets gone? Let's pop them back in there. It's probably not enough. Oh, that's pretty much perfect. It's only a tiny bit I took off, but now it's sitting flush in the waste. I think I might. Worst case scenario is if it doesn't really work, is because it gives me the option and I can just move the waste around a bit. If it doesn't really work, I can just remove the magnets and just glue them in, super glue them in. So let's put the magnet in. So again, let's refer to my, so that's into the body, so that way will be glued onto there like that. And if I take off, so that will go into there like that. Okay, get my super glue. Where did I put that? Organisation. Yeah, it's right in front of me. So I'll use just Army Painter super glue, which is getting a bit gunked up at the end. I think I've got another one, which is even worse. I'll try and use that one actually, if I can, if it works. No, I think that's dead. I think that's dried. Let's throw that one away. Okay, so what was I doing? Let's do the one in here. I'll get my polarities right again now, so I'm dropping it in my lap. So that's into the body, so that's the down like that. Just pop it in. I might put a bit more glue so it just goes around the edges of the slight gap that's there. And always put these lid on these super glue fast, because as you saw, that other one had dried out. I might just try and get it a bit centered though. Doesn't really want to move. It's probably started to stick already. Okay, that's good. That'll do. And then this is where you find out if you balls it up. So hopefully that's gone in like that. You see, so then that means that that side needs to be glued onto that, so the paint is sticking down. Hopefully. Unless I got a nightmare getting this one out. Could try pulling it out. Yeah, that works. So it's a bit of a shame it's stuck to my finger, but I can actually move it. Yeah, I'll just leave that. So paint was handy because I've obviously used it for something else previously and then just had to remove it. So we're going to just, this is handy as well, just to score it, just to give something for your super glue just to grip. Just put a few scores in, and then we'll go across the other way to make it like a, just doing this gently so any little accidents. Give it just a bit of a rough edge then, rough surface for that super glue. Dollop in the middle, and then that will spread out once the magnet goes on. Right, and get it centered and give it just a little switch around to spread the glue, and then push it down. Make sure it's in the middle. Pretty much that's alright. And then leave that to dry. Out the way, so it's not near a million of the other magnets to pull it off. And then put this guy back on the shelf. So that's them. And then, so probably going to paint this part separate so I can get down the back here, because that's going to be stuck to the front. And you might be, I don't know, would you be able to see too much? Yeah, because it sticks out a bit, because it's got these kind of ruts or joints bits here which make it pushed out from the front, so it is going to be out. So if you don't get a good bit of paint back there, a bit of a perfectionist about that, then it's going to be seen as well from the back. You'll be able to see into that panel, so that will be painted separately, so that doesn't need to be glued on, and that also looks pretty clean. I just installed, oh yeah, I was going to look up about those little struts, wasn't I? So, aux. And aux. They've got the assembled model with them on, but have they got a painted? I don't think they've got a painted, no. Oh, they have got a painted one, they've left them on. I'll leave them on. They look a bit flimsy though. Right, so you've got some toe. We're going to do the back. Let's just get these toe feet actually. Let's do this back. This looks a bit complicated. So you've got to glue on all these little bits here, which I believe are all these bits here. These tappets. So they're like spark plugs or something. There's loads of them. Get these magnets back out of the way. A minute. Get them out of the way. Let's have a look here. Shavings everywhere, put them to piles the side. Right, let's get these cut off. Like I said in previous videos, I'm not sure how this model is going to do in the game. I think it's going to be a bit of fun. Probably too much points for what he is, or something like that. Oh, I'll lose it. But like I said, it's mainly playing against a couple of my brothers. We're not that young, but not kids. But we just have a bit of fun. So it doesn't matter about winning so much. It's about, obviously, like I said, the previous ones, winning's the bonus. It's about having a bit of fun. Seeing what models are there so we can destroy it. So they're going to just go on there like that. So I'll get them all ready and then I can super glue them all at once instead of messing around too much. So who are some of the guys that you guys watch if you sit and paint? Like, there's another one I watch sometimes, Train Shooter, Mal, he's quite funny. But I like Train because I like doing a bit more of a themed base if you don't buy resin base. And it's always nice to see how you can, because if you buy trees and things they can cost an absolute blooming fortune. See, I dodged a swear word there. Yeah. So if you can get really good techniques how to make them. I asked him once on one of his shows and to do snow. So he done a snow tree tutorial, but never didn't do a snow. And he done about suggesting once the tree's made, doing like a spray glue from top down and then just sprinkling the glue so it catches those tops of the branches. Obviously common sense in it, end of the day, which most things are. But if you want a quick resource answer, these guys do the job. You know, and he's a nice guy. I like watching people who come across as good, decent people, which I think anyone really mostly on YouTube do. Especially, particularly for this hobby. You don't get really many assholes putting videos up. I mean, you can't really. Your true personality will always come out in the end. God, I thought these were going to be a bit easier. So I was saying yesterday, after the game, I tried putting together slightly one of the weapon arms for this, and I had a bit of trouble. One of the chains for the chain kill saw, whatever it's called, one of the chains snapped in half because it's so brittle. And I had a nightmare trying to glue it back together, and I still haven't managed to do it. And I couldn't glue one of the arm parts together. So if you got any suggestions, maybe I should. I can't score to get a rough edge for the chain. I can't really score. If I show you when we get to it, the arm, I can't really score that either. So that's how they go on. It's like spark plugs on the pistons. It's a pretty cool idea. So I do a bit of copper wiring. It's got a twisted wire around it. I do that as copper wiring or something. There. I could score just about score the ends of these ones. But I'm hoping that these won't have a problem sticking. There's a bit of bubbling actually in the resin on the bottom on here, but it's okay. It's not killed the pipe completely, but I can do that as a bit of a corrosion through the pipe anyway. So this is the thing about orcs and Nurgle in particular. See, now I've just knocked them and they've all slid off. If this glue doesn't dry, sometimes I know you can get like a spray that makes your super glue activate faster. I might have to get some of that. Templar's Crusade was the first guy I've seen using that. He seemed to like using it a lot, and I can see why. Here's another one I watched. When I first started getting back into this, the guys that I saw first of all, with Magnus Calgar, which he seemed to vanish. I don't know what happened there. I think he fell out with a few people. I don't know really. I don't get into politics. I don't know what happened. I hate to see anyone really fall out like that, if they did. But then he just seemed to disappear, and I think it might have fallen out with Templar's Crusade. Again, I shouldn't say that unless I know the full facts. But I did message Templar's Crusade, and I think he did tell me anyway that they just personality clashed or something, which happens. I started watching those guys, Templar's Crusade, him, and then I saw a bit from Orc Painter Nerd, and then kind of went from there. Obviously, Templar's Crusades, he works more in the sort of film and animation industry, so he kind of got his dream job. So unfortunately you don't get to see him. He was doing some, actually at the end there, he was doing some fantastic bolt action. I love this, how he done his bolt action battle reports. It's really good. A little bit of the animation on the videos for the effects, and I really enjoyed. Sorry to see him go, but I'm happy to see that he's doing what he loves work wise. His passion. And I'm sure when he's got a bit of time he does get on the desk and do a little bit if he can, because it's a lot of models and effort and time and money he's put into his hobby. But there's probably a bit more, less as a job, full-time YouTube job, and more as a back to a hobby lifestyle of it. But again, he's another really nice guy. Comes across nice. Obviously I haven't met him in real life, but I'm pretty sure if I did, he's a decent guy, you can usually tell. So that's them. I'm just a bit worried that they're gonna, some of them actually, the glue has started to activate now, and they're getting a bit solid on there. So that sits like it's back. It's almost like a back, gives it a nice look, like a back spine to the model, which is awesome. And you've got ports there which I think are for the exhausts. I might paint them separately. Let's have a look. Actually, it gives a good bit of space around them. Be able to get in around behind. Oh, see. Oh. Gonna get some activator spray at some point. Anyone can direct me to a really good, best priced place, good shop to buy them from online. Little spray, super glue, super glue activator, whatever it is. Whatever it's called, you know what I mean. Actually won a model, I won a festival, I never really seemed to win anything. When the lottery first came out in the UK, I won the lottery a few times, but not obviously the full amount, but a fair bit. But I won a model, the White Dwarf model, anniversary one, which I need to get around to paint, but as you can see I've got a lot to paint. I've got a lot to do. And that's not a model that you game with, that's just going to be a display. I will keep it, I won't give it away because, you know, I think that would be rude. I won't sell it, I mean, more should I say than give away. It's a prize, I shouldn't do that, so we'll be keeping that. Also cleaned up. Right, so let's get these toe. I don't think it matters which one goes on which. These toe parts for the feet. And does it matter though which one's left and which one's right? I think that might matter. So looking at it, that's the right foot, that's the left foot. And these do matter because there's space there for that one to go on there with its claws, but not for the other one. Okay, so let's get that glued on. It's got a nice couple of little holes there for me to get a bit of glue into, and a couple of little knobs on it to get stuck in. That's again because it's a bit shiny. Probably needed to scrub off before I go super gluing. Shouldn't really cut corners, but I find that cleaning process sometimes it doesn't even remove any of the resin. I know some people use different things, so I bought some sif with the slight beads in it, and I did just not done it yet. Where's the other foot plate? There you go. It's got actually, if I didn't see that before, it's got a great big air bubble in the front part there. That's fine because it's going to be covered up by that plate and then it's going to be on the floor, so I'm lucky that the slight imperfections are nowhere that's going to be seen or of any concern that I've seen so far. But the castings have come out beautifully. I need to just hold that for a second actually. It's actually giving that nice little hole there, so if I wanted to I could pump a bit of super glue in there. Take advantage of the design flaw. A bit of glue inside there in that pocket because it comes up behind the back of the plate. Making good of a bad situation. Can hold that down a bit because that's a bit pulling away. But I do love these feet, these great big chunky feet. I'll put that upside down so that sticks like that. I don't know what this part here is. Oh, it's one of the hip. There's two, yeah. So that's basically the hip joints. And again, I need to work out which one's left and which one's right. See if these magnets are glued. Yeah, so they're solid now. That one in there, on the inside, because I'll let that stick a bit more. But the hip joint, oh no, it's going to go onto this, isn't it? Of course. So I need to make sure. Right, so that one's that one, I think. Doesn't really fit in very well. I need to trim a bit of this round corner because it's just not pushing in. Is it that way? I think that one's that one. Yeah, that's that side, but it doesn't fit. So So I need to do a bit of work on that. And then this one is on this side. And that doesn't fit either. So it just needs a bit of trimming. So this ring around here, let's just pull them back. So my videos are very rough and ready. They're not smooth, and when you look at I think the one that stands out for me most that I watch is Spiky Bits. How his introduction part, I want to get something nice like that, and how well edited it is, and the anchor camera from up above and all that. You obviously need some sort of gimbal or something going on, some sort of frame. I don't know. Let's see if that fits. I can't remember which side this one was now. Seems like it's actually the pin itself. But yeah, so they're really polished videos, quality and stuff. I've got an editing program, but I haven't got a clue how to edit programs. That's that side. That's better. Almost clips in without needing glue, look. So I just need to do the same on this side. So I need to somehow work out pace, spend some time, but I'm so limited for time. I need to get this. I've forgotten what it's called now. A program called where is it? Cyberlink Power Director 14. That's the program I use. The program I got. And I probably won't be getting any other one. I'll probably just have to use this one and master it. I can't be bothered to be buying other ones now because I bought that one. So that's the one I'm going to use. That's the one I'll have to master. It's just a waste. I need more, as much money as I can get for the hobby rather than replacing program, equipment, whatever it is, software. Right, let's try that. Again, ooh, I trimmed it a bit too much, but that's okay because I can glue it. That just slots in perfectly. So the hips have got a pin point moulded onto it and a hole, so you can actually have it modelled differently for a different slightly angled pose, which is okay. And to tell you the truth, I could probably glue that in because I can get all around there paint wise. Let's get that paint in there. Yeah, so let's whack a glue on that now. So it's just kind of like dry fitting a lot to see how far you can go with assembly before you have to then start priming and painting. Stuck in there. Actually now I can see what was stopping it. There's some like moulded nuts onto it that are in the way. You can see there's like a ring around here and it's got these moulded nuts which is kind of just stopping it from clipping in, but it's gone in. Push that in hard. And this other one which basically clips in, but I'm going to glue it in anyway obviously for stability. And if my brother's son is anywhere near it, I don't want him really be anywhere near it anyway, but if he knocks it, if he's about, I think from now on though it's just going to be us because it was a bit too much. A little one there causing mayhem. Oh no, it was the other one that clipped in. There's this one that didn't clip in, so I need to kind of hold that for a minute. I think is that glue still drying in there? Yeah, I won't go popping that in just yet. I was going to see if the glue I didn't mess up the polarities on my magnets, but I'll wait. I need a bit of patience with that. There's a bit of a seam line down the back, but that's going to be glued onto the back of the model, so I'm not going to see that anyway. I think that's the bottom, yeah, that's the top, so like that. Anyway, so I'm not going to see that. I don't think I need to magnetise the back, because there's no point. It's just going to go on. Now, can I though? I was going to paint it separately, but can I get away with gluing it on and painting it? Probably not. Probably will paint it separately. Yeah. But what an awesome looking model. Is that glued? That's glued down. That's good. It's going to wait a bit longer. I'm going to be a bit more patient if I... Was that dried? Can I feel a little bit of wet in there? Yeah, there's still a bit of wet glue in there. So that's that. I think that's as far as my assembly would go. I might get the gun barrels on its chest. Where did they go? Let's get the instructions. Right, I've also the bullet belt has snapped. Oh no, they come, yeah, they both snapped off. So I need to, it's a pain, absolute pain. Right, so those guns, go in the part of the cog that connects to the back part, I think. So when that's on there like that, where do these guns fit? What do they go onto? Onto this, I suppose. So these instructions are horrendous. So that looks like, what's that bit there? Oh. I see. So they're the ammo feeds, so they go on the side, so I can get those on. Let's get those on. I can glue them onto the side, they go there somewhere. What's that bit though? Reference, that is number, should be 2 of them, only not 1. Oh no, don't, there's 1 on there as well, 2 of them, right. So they are number 30, they are ammo feed, and then 31, 32 is left gun breech. Alright, so they're the gun breeches. How does it go together though? That's the most horrendous. Oh, test your patience, but we shall work it out. So let's cut them off anyway. A little clean up. Up to an hour already. Time flies by. People are probably turned off by now. So what I'll probably do is I'll stop at that point so you can see basically how I work the magnet. So I've got a few questions and things on there. And what I'll do is I'll do a second part of where I get the feet finished assembly, and then I'm probably going to get the pipes on. We'll work out the gun barrels together, and I don't know what these parts are. We'll work out what they are, we'll find out, look on the instructions what those parts are, and then we'll go from there. So again, this is like an hour slot, so you can, if you're sat painting for an hour, hopefully you can just sit there and watch and listen to this. You can have a little look at what I'm doing, and you can help me with my questions and maybe ask me some questions. Now, as far as that goes, I can't read everybody's comment. I don't think I'm going to have any followers to start with, so probably won't be many. I'm very busy work-wise. I've got a full-time job which takes up a horrendous amount of my hours per week, because it's getting to work as well as all the hours that I do. But we'll try and pick a few, so don't feel like I'm to be dismayed or I'm being rude. I don't want anyone being sensitive to the fact that I haven't ignored you as such. I just haven't got the chance to sit there, and that's everything. I wish I could, or I could have someone do it for me and then read them to me whilst I'm working, but I don't have that luxury. But I'll do a few that just pop out my screen. I won't go read them all and then just pick a few. So it's not like I'm selectively picking, and I'm not picking yours for whatever reason. I will just pick some as I just the ones that I actually just look straight away at and read. But please like, share, subscribe as well, so that I can get as many viewers as possible, so we can get this little project a bit of backing, a bit of support, so other people's points of views and interests can get involved, and maybe you can tell me what armies you're starting up. Have you just decided to just whack a load of your resources of money and time into a certain army, and say why? What is it that attracts you to them? Orcs, for me, it's just the look of the models and the quirky craziness, the unpredictability, and the fact that you could do conversion work, and you could go crazy with it if you wanted to and have some really amazing effects. It's always going to hopefully then look good. I don't know how far down that road I'll go. I'm more of a model stroke painter than not a modelling kind of, I just get the model and paint. I'm more of a painter, should I say. But anyway, this will be just part one of this, and then I'll get the rest parts put together in a second, and I'll just do a second part, so you can maybe watch the second part at another time at your leisure. Alright, well, thanks for watching. It's Lean Machine Painting. Please like, share, subscribe. See you in the next one.